everybody, to the Just One More Level podcast. I am your co host, Christian.
And I'm John.
And this week we played a little bit of a wonderful little game called Bad Rats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what I
Yeah.
figured. So I'll
Yeah.
just before we even get into this, I do want to just real quick, if you're actually watching this episode on stream or on YouTube, and you have a
hmm
problem with kittens being maimed, virtual kittens, of course, no real life kittens would ever be harmed. Just click off the
No.
video.
Yes.
Just a trigger warning there for everybody. This is not for the faint of heart.
It's so weird because it has the gore,
Yeah,
okay, and it reminds me of like an mid to late 2000s browser
Flash
game.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, like a flash game, like something you'd find on addicting games. In fact, there
yeah,
was one that I used
definitely.
to play called Kitten Cannon. And you would just it was kind of set up like Angry Birds. You would just shoot a kitten out of a cannon and see like how far it could go and how you could judge the obstacles in the level. And the obstacles, of course, would just shred the cat. And it
Right.
was all over the place. But it's so weird because that like cheap gore and that brainless gameplay is combined with an actual like challenging puzzle game.
And that's the thing with this one is it's so I mean it has some other problems other than its art direction, but like what were
hmm
they thinking? They made a decent sounding or a
Puzzle game.
decent experience. Yeah, I mean I love physics puzzler. I mean okay, that's so yeah, we should probably say what the game is. It's a physics puzzle game, right? So you're
Yeah.
loaded into a level and you have the goal of murdering a cat basically.
Yeah.
By like in the first level if you're watching the stream or whatever, it's by dropping a safe on its head, knocking a drape on
Right.
wow, what is that
A
called?
Drafe.
Safe. Knocking a safe onto the cat's head. Other levels will be different
Right.
things like saws or flames of some sort, etc., etc. And you're
Right.
given objects that you can place in the world so that a ball will hit and activate whatever the object is that will kill the
hmm
cat.
Right.
So I mean, it's a pretty basic puzzle, physics puzzle type game.
hmm
Um,
Yeah.
it runs fairly well, in my opinion. I have noticed the physics can be a little bit screwy sometimes.
Hey, it's
But
nonsense.
but yeah, but for as cheap as the game is, I can get over the whole like the physics being a little bit off from time to time, right? Where like you
Yeah.
would expect one thing to happen, but it doesn't quite happen, or you play the same without touching anything, without moving any of the objects you placed. You hit play,
hmm
let it play out, stop it, hit play again without moving anything, and something slightly different will happen. So there's little
Yes.
inconsistencies in the physics engine like that. But it's an extremely cheap game. I think it's like 99 cents most of the time or
Right.
something like that. So little inconsistencies like
Yeah.
that I could get over. But then you have the art style and just
Yeah.
blood and gore and murdering the cats. And it's like, what is
Uh,
that funny? What was the point of
is
that? Like,
Yeah, I think it was funny to a certain type of people. A long time ago. I guess this game came out about 2009. So prime time for this type of entertainment.
right.
I mean, if you think about it at the time, you had all of those flash games that were kind of on their way out, honestly, and then you had TV shows like Happy Tree Friends,
Yeah, that's true. That's
which
true.
which which was also the mutilation and maiming of animal characters that were supposed to be cute. It was
Right.
supposed to be that
It's
irreverent
also like the time
type
of
of
like
humor.
Super Meat Boy and other things like
Yeah,
that as well. So I get it. I guess it is kind of a product of its time. But it's
yeah,
just, I don't know.
but
Like, I'm not offended by it. I'm not a very easily offended person or anything like that. But I don't think it added
right,
anything to it. Personally, as somebody who
no,
grew up watching like Tom and Jerry, I would have been much more
hmm
interested if it was a little bit more cartoony and fun, kind of like, Tom and Jerry type of deal. Where, yeah, they're going at
yeah,
each other, but it's not like they're actually
hmm
mutilating each other or anything like that. I think
right.
something like that would have been a
Fun,
little bit more fun, personally.
yeah. Fun fact: there was a Tom and Jerry game that I played on Super Nintendo, and it was not any kind of anything creative like you just mentioned. It was just a it was just a side-scrolling platformer. And
Right.
Tom was always like the boss. You played as Jerry and you went through the level and stuff. But I always really enjoyed that game when I was a kid. But this is like it's weird. It's weird to talk about because I want to be like kind to it. But the thing that frustrated me the most, honestly, was the puzzles. Like I don't know why, but once I got to like the 8th or ninth puzzle, I was struggling. And I was doing everything. I played the tutorial version because I suppose we should break this down. There's like 4 game modes that you can play. You can play a tutorial version, which has a blueprint overlaid over the level of how it suggests you lay out the props that you're given. And then there's like an easy and normal mode, which is just variations of that. You don't get the blueprint to help you anymore. You get less resources. And then there's a hard mode, which is you get every resource available in the game,
hints.
Period.
Well, there's one hint. There's one hint
Yeah.
at the beginning of every level where it gives you some sort of like small suggestion, like
Right.
one of them I remember is that the bulldozer can be used as a timer based off of how far away it is from the ball. So it gives you little
Right.
hints like that. But other than that, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And that I didn't even try. I always played on the tutorial version every time that I played the game. But I think it is interesting that there is multiple ways to try to beat the level. But it was like just what you were saying about the physics. Like you can set everything up the exact same way and then hit play twice in a row and it'll play out differently, which I
Right.
guess is kind of a thing in physics. That's what Jeff Goldblum was talking about in Jurassic Park. Remember when he did the little trick with the water? He was talking about chaos theory.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? No.
technically speaking, yeah,
He's-
but
He
you're
was
in a
talking about
video
chaos theory, and
game.
he put the
In a
water
video
drop
game, yeah, you would
on her
expect though things to always play out the same, unless you change
Right.
some variables. In the real world, sure, there's no way to 100% control every variable, but it's a video game for Christ's sakes. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's 2 things that really killed the gameplay for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, the gameplay is reasonable enough, like I said, for a 99-cent game. But what you
Yeah.
just mentioned, and then the other thing that killed me was, so as I mentioned earlier, you're trying to get a ball to a goal, basically, is what you're trying to do on every level. And the ball,
Right.
and it's kind of set as like a 2D game, but everything's 3D.
Right.
Excuse me, sorry. The thing that kills me, the other thing, is that the ball isn't locked to the x-axis, or sorry, to the z. I don't know, however you want to. It can move toward and
It's
away
not
from
locked-
the screen. Yeah, it's not
Exactly.
locked to the
Yeah.
x and y. It also can move on the z. And since the puzzles are all laid out in 2D, that kind of like, if you were watching the video, one of the levels, I was trying to not follow direction. I was trying to do it my own way and use the batter to kind of smack the ball. But every time the batter would smack the ball, it would get out of the play area and actually come towards the screen, making it impossible to do what I wanted to do. And it's just, why? Like, why? That should have been such an easy fix. I don't know what engine this was made in or anything like that. But I know in Unity, the engine that John and I use whenever we dabble in game design, that's literally like a 1-button fix, right? You just click one option on your game engine and it's just
To lock
now
it.
now the ball can't move towards the screen. Problem solved. Like, so I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. That really bothered me as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one that I got stuck on was, I forget what it was called, but it was like the level itself was sort of shaped like a triangle. You had planks on either side, and the goal was to get the ball up to the top of the triangle because there was a dog in a cage, and you were trying to release the dog so that it would tear apart the cat. And you did this by positioning your rocket mouse to fly at a diagonal angle and intercept the ball as it was being pulled up by a vacuum mouse in the center of the screen.
And that timer is like the most inconsistent thing ever on those rockets. I feel like
And
I didn't
kept
actually sit there and
adjusting
time it.
adjusting
but
it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
I know
nonsense.
exactly what you mean.
There's so many factors, and I was trying to get it to time just right, and I was playing with the blueprint, and it said you got to line it up just like this. It had the dotted lines, had a little circle where the mouse is supposed to go, and I was just like, okay, that has to be the rocket mouse. No other mouse can follow that kind of trajectory. And then I tried it so many times, and I repositioned him so many times up and back and forth down the little line, and nothing would work. And then when I finally found some kind of video, which is something that I mentioned to Christian right before we started recording on the stream, I found a video of somebody playing the game, and I was like, oh, sweet, he's going to play through each of the puzzles, and I'm going to see whatever that I missed. Maybe it's one of those things where I just didn't try it just right.
Right.
But no, the guy played on hard mode where you could have every resource. So he just used a completely different strategy.
Right.
And I was like, oh, great. Okay. I gotcha.
I can't remember if that's the same level I quit on or not, but I played
Hmm.
on the easiest mode, the tutorial mode at first. After the first couple levels, I turned off the guides. But
Hmm.
then I decided to go back and see what kind of settings there were in the game, and then after that,
Uh-huh.
I played on the free mode or hard mode or whatever you call it with everything. So I'm not sure if I made it quite as
Right.
far as you or not. I can't remember, but yeah, no,
Okay.
I do know I tried some just weird things just for fun using like the
Hmm.
cannon and the rocket mouse and things like that, and yeah, those timers were
Right.
absolutely ridiculous, completely inconsistent. It felt
Oh
like.
yeah. And something else that is just straight up garbage. The timer in the game is for the game, the whole game, like all of the levels. The timer that you see at the bottom right hand corner is something I realized when I was playing this. It doesn't reset after every level. It is for the entire game. And
Wait,
that infuriated me.
is it?
I don't know.
Because like
Yeah, I
I
don't know
had
if you
less
I don't know
time
if you
just a
noticed that,
second
but
ago. Like I in that last level, I
it
had like 7 minutes left or something like that, and now it reset to 10.
I mean, it might like reset occasionally, or it might reset based off of something. Like if you pass the level in a certain amount of tries or something like that, you get less time deducted or something like that. But I know that it was something that I saw when he was playing it straight through was that his timer was like consistently counting down. So maybe
I
it's
wonder if
dependent on
that
mode or
I was gonna say
how
maybe
you
that's a
beat it.
hard mode thing or something. I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah.
remember noticing that when I was playing in the harder
Hmm.
difficulty, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Could have missed that one.
Yeah. But it was I remember one of the levels I ran out of time. And when you run out of time, it's game over. You have to start over.
Yeah,
You have to start back at level 1 and replay all the levels. So that's that's something. But
that's a thing.
this game, it's a thing. The game just had me shaking my head. I don't know. Like I like you, I'm not very easily offended. Amber was horrified. I
I
as I
did
was
worry
playing
a
this.
little bit about what other people would think as we
Yeah,
showed this game
that's
off. But I mean, and that's why I decided to give the little disclaimer right in the beginning. Like, if this is
yeah,
the sort of thing
yeah.
that bothers you, please, by all means, just don't
We're not
watch this
playing
one.
yeah, we're not playing
Um,
like a hentai game or anything, but
no, no, nothing like
it's
that. But
not
it's still, I mean, some people are
it's
definitely,
gross.
yeah, don't appreciate that sort of thing. And of
Yeah.
course, we don't condone this sort of thing at all IRL. But I mean, it's a
No.
video game, so whatever.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, do you
Right.
have anything
Exactly.
good to say about the game, John? Did you enjoy any of it?
I found myself getting hooked into the puzzling.
Hmm.
I liked trying to figure out the puzzle. And I thought that they had a pretty decent physics engine because I know it's something that you say all the time. You know, is the game broken or am I just not good at it yet?
Right.
And that's how I kept feeling in certain scenarios because I would look at it and I would say, all right, all of the pieces are here for me to do this. And nothing makes that more apparent than when you play in tutorial mode.
Right.
And it shows you the blueprint of how you should get this done. So I kept saying to myself, all right, there's got to be a way. It's not unbeatable. I just haven't figured this out yet. So let's try to figure this out. And that kind of thing, that kind of aspect to it made me want to keep trying. And I think that that's the name of our show. Would you
Yeah.
play just one more level? And for a while, it had me kind of hooked where I kept wanting to try to figure things out and try to get the puzzling just right. But I think it's just the mix of the atmosphere and the puzzling that kind of has me saying no. I would love to see another kind of physics puzzler to play because
Sure.
I think it's just I don't know. I think like you said, like if it were more like Tom and Jerry, if it were more cartoony and less weird 2000s gross out humor,
It's so
Then
fake
I'd
edgy.
be
Like
down.
that's the thing. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
obvious that they did this just to appeal to that edgy crowd, right? Just
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to do gross things because I think it's cool kind of thing.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, whatever. It definitely didn't help me enjoy the game anymore. But
Right.
if I found the physics engine, so you mentioned the physics engine being good, and for the most part, I agree. It's decent. I've certainly seen worse, but the inconsistencies kind of killed it for me.
Right. And
That's
that's the
like,
thing.
and that's the number
It's
one
like,
thing in like a physics puzzler is things should be consistent.
True. And it seems though like they spent so much time making sure that a lot of the physics were solid. Like I didn't
Right.
find any like huge game breaking glitches or like the puzzles themselves within the level, they're like pretty well designed puzzles for the most part. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's so weird and bizarre to me that they would spend so much time getting the puzzles to be good and then mix it with this weird theme and not fine tune the physics engine. Like
Right.
it's weird. It's sort of a weird clash in my brain. But I would not play just one more level. It would not. It didn't hook my interest enough to try to dive deeper into Bad Rats and become the speedrunning master. Yeah. Sorry, Dev. I don't know.
Dev team.
who
I
made
forget
this.
their name. But,
Sorry, Dev
yeah,
team.
it was a small team.
I think you had a one-hit wonder meme game.
I
And
don't know if it was really, yeah, it wasn't really so much that it was a one-hit wonder as much as people just thought it was funny to send it to people.
Right,
Personally, I found it better than I expected, though, going into it. I thought it
Right.
was going to be worse just because I had heard all of the people, all of the memes. I seen the memes online and YouTube personalities and
Right.
things talking about being gifted this game 1,000 times because it's so terrible and whatnot. It works a lot better than I thought it
Right.
would. And
yeah,
one small thing that I did appreciate. So like John mentioned how they have the blueprint that you can follow to kind of beat the game if you're on tutorial mode or whatever. One other thing that they did that I thought was cool is no matter the difficulty you're on, after you beat the level, you can see how the developer expected you to beat the level. And then you can watch that play out. So I thought that was kind of neat
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Just kind of seeing, how they decided to do it. And the other thing I enjoyed was just trying to do stupid stuff, like trying to beat it like the weirdest way possible. So like,
Right, yeah.
if you're watching the video, you can see that I'm going back through levels because, like I said, I decided to change it to expert mode. And for most of these levels, not all of them, what I decided to do, the ones that I had already played, was just use stupid stuff like the cannon mouse and the rocket mouse and things like that. That honestly
Right, yeah.
made it so much harder to do. But I just wanted to see, could you do it this way? Was it possible?
Right.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, the game's not the worst thing ever, it's just, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing that
It's a
exists. And if you really love physics games and you have nothing else to
Right.
play, then maybe give it a shot. Like I said, it's super
Yep.
cheap. There's that going for it at least.
Or if you really want to prank your friend.
Right, yeah, yeah. If you want to act like it's 2009
just-
again, you can spend the 99 cents and just send this to all your buds.
Yeah, so send this to your friends. Tell them that it's one of the best games that you have ever played.
Right.
It's changed your life. It's given you a completely new appreciation and understanding for physics.
Right,
Yeah, just nice little prank. But
for sure.
I don't know. There's better games to do that with. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
so as far as whether or not I would play just one more level, I haven't actually answered. No,
Yeah.
probably not. Probably not. It's unlikely. Yeah. So
probably not. Yeah.
go ahead. It sounds like
I
you
don't
want to
know.
sign us off. Go ahead, John.
I'm gonna request this of you on
Okay.
your stream.
Yeah.
I want a challenge mode of this. I want you to beat every level
Oh.
with one rat.
With one rat. I wonder if that's possible.
One rat.
Honestly, I feel like probably
Yeah,
not. Like
beat
this
every
level
level with one
here,
rat.
I don't like this level here. For instance, if you're watching the stream or the YouTube video, I don't
Mhm.
think it's possible to do.
I think you could do it. I
I
believe
don't
in you.
know. I don't know. I like challenges, but
I'm what I'm looking at on screen here is you could do the rocket mouse and you could do the inclined plane in between the two barriers right there. And if you push that ball all the way to the left, it would roll down the barrier and hit.
and
the
I
button
thought
right.
about that, but I was determined to use the rocket mouse and then smack it midair with the cannon mouse.
And the can.
I was
right.
That's what I was determined to do. I think I got it to work eventually, and that this moment is when I really
Mm-hmm.
realized how bad the timer is. Like, just how inconsistent the timer and the physics are.
Yeah,
Because I also noticed
I
sometimes
don't know
when
if
the
it's-
the rocket mouse blows up, the ball sometimes
Yeah.
will then roll very slowly down the incline. Other times it'll fucking zoom
Right.
down the incline. So I
Right.
don't know, man.
it's not like seconds. If it were just seconds, it would be so helpful.
Right. I'm assuming it's
some
meant to be like
weird measurement of
milliseconds or
time.
something. I'm assuming,
Right, but it's not.
but it doesn't seem like it, at least, because 100 milliseconds would be 1 second, if I'm not mistaken. And I have it set to 115 right now if you're watching the stream, and it's just, that was much longer than a second there. So I don't,
Right.
was it frames, maybe? I don't
Could
know.
be.
I have no
But
idea.
there's no way this game, even if it was frames, and we're giving this game the extreme benefit of the doubt that it's running at 60 FPS, then
Right.
115 would be
2 seconds. Yeah.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Not even. So it's
Yeah,
just
I don't
some
know, man.
bullshit made up time unit, just like Mario.
Um,
I don't know if anybody's I don't know if anybody's ever had that critique about Mario, but I have. Where
it's not. It's
It-
the Mario's not
it's
that
always
bad.
on like no, it's always just on like a longer castle when I have some amount of time left and I have no way of knowing how stressed I need to be.
Yeah, I
because the
think
music-
each second in Mario is technically like 9, like point, I don't know, like 0.89 seconds or something like that. I forget what it is exactly.
Yeah.
It's something stupid. I remember a
'Cause
speedrunner
the
talking about it one time, but
Yeah, the speed up music starts at 100 time units left. Like once you get under 100 time units remaining, it does the da 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 da, and the music starts playing faster.
Yeah.
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 But that's I'll save that for another episode. So
Right.
anyway, Christian, I've already mentioned one place we can find you. At Stream All the Steam on Twitch, where he's doing
Yeah.
challenge runs of some games. Why don't you
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
my
that?
current thing that I'm doing. I found that I wasn't able to consistently keep up with doing just like the normal video games and things like that. So I figured something a little bit different, like challenge runs, would be nice. So what I'm doing right now is the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, all the mainline games. I'm running through on the hardest difficulties available, along with extra rules like limited healing abilities, limited saving, things like that. And then once I beat each game in the series, it'll be added to a list that I'll start going through, trying to do the same rules or harder, but also with permadeath. So once I die, I have to completely restart from the beginning. So that's kind of what I'm doing on Twitch right now. Those will probably end up on YouTube sooner or later, but I have no schedule of when I plan on putting them up on there exactly.
Right.
And then other than that, of course, I'm on Twitter, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and then our website that we have now, you can find me there as well. And I've
Yeah.
been doing some short stories and just talking about video games and stuff on there. So, John, what about you though, man? What have you got going on?
You can find me at the Just One More Level podcast YouTube channel currently. I don't have a lot going on my main YouTube channel, although I am really hoping that I can revive that soon. And that's just gonna be some like Let's Play and like Twitch highlight type videos. So you can also find me on Twitch at the Dorseman. My YouTube channel is at the Dorseman. Socials, Instagram, Twitter, all at the Dorseman or at John Dorsey 1 on Twitter. And you can also check me out on the website. I'm going to be sending Christian some stuff very soon to put on the website, as far as a blog for myself and a bio for me. And don't forget to check out on the website too. We have a poll going
Yes.
right now of a few suggestions of games that we hope to play in the future, and we'd like to know what you think and what you would like to see us play. So
Yes.
definitely
Yes,
check that out.
100%.
Yep. And next week on the podcast, we're going to be playing the classic Metroid, and I think we'll have some more positive things to say about that than bad rats.
Yes,
but in the
definitely.
But in the meantime, thanks for sticking with us with this weird one here. You guys seem to like the weird ones, though, so we're going to keep them coming. And thank you so much for watching. You didn't have to, but you did, and we appreciate it.
We do. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.